so how's everyone's day going? So this is my review for a Netflix original, movie that came out today. It is directed by Zack Snyder and it is called Army of Dead. The plot of it is after a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble by venturing into the quarantine zone for the greatest heist ever. This is pretty much a zombie bank heist movie with a $90 million budget. Pretty much the plot of it is what comes off to me is like a $90 million budget B film, while trying not to be a B film, which it kind of came off in between. So it definitely is a different taste or take on a zombie film, as the city of Las Vegas has been quarantined from the rest of the world. So everyone is just living a normal life on the outside of this quarantine zone. And from the trailer, there's clearly a queen and a king zombie that are different from the normal zombies. For sure, a difference of story compared to other movies. Other heist movies, other zombie movies, and it's something I can appreciate. Not going to name all the cast members, as there's a lot, and I'm sure there's some I can't pronounce, but there's definitely some familiar faces in there. But one I will say out loud, or tell you, is Dave Bautista. If you've watched a lot of my older videos, you know I'm kind of a fan of his, and he usually tends to do smaller budget films while doing Guardians of the Galaxy type of big budget films, but mostly kind of side budget films. But I think he's a good actor. I think he's not like the best, but he's really good, at least kind of personality wise. This is literally over 2 hours and a half. I think it was like 2:30 or 2:30. No, like 2:28. Sorry. The opening to the credits, where they showed what was the lead up after the infection, and what caused infection is kind of a little bit obvious and typical, and it was a little bit, I don't know how you would describe it, not great. But back to the lead up to it, they had a montage, and it honestly, because of the poppy type of old-timey jazz music that was in there, and I think it's jazz, I guess you would call it jazz, didn't really fit. It kind of just made me wonder, is this going to be a horror film with comedy in the background? You know, thinking this was going to be taken seriously. I don't know why from the trailer. I thought that, because now that I more think about it, before I started doing this video, it's like, yeah, it's kind of, the idea of this film is a bit kooky. But still, I thought, it's Zack Snyder, and how they promoted it, it seemed a little bit more serious. Now, Snyder has a habit of doing slow-mo, dramatic action. Everyone knows this. He overdid it with the Snyder Cut, which it's like the only critic part I have to say about it that I'm not a fan of. But you got to, well, that in the cropping of in the box, but there was a reason for that, is from my understanding. For the dramatic shots, which I kind of felt a little annoyed at times, and like I said just now, in that Snyder cut was a little bit annoying at first. But he didn't do it a lot in this. He only did it a couple times, about 3 or 4 in the beginning. He did some other Snyder stuff where you have the person coming towards you and everything's blurred and it makes it slow. It's Snyder for you. It's his style. You can love it or hate it. A lot of CGI, and half of it was bad, to be honest. If I'm being honest, a little more than half of it was bad. It was pretty bad. It was obvious. It was like in the middle, but it was pretty Some of it was actually not even right here. It was pretty down here. So, but don't get me wrong, it doesn't bother me that much in this case. But what did was the overdone gore. It was way overused. And way overused. That does make it sound a little like I'm being a little dramatic, but definitely when it comes to the gore, it's definitely kind of overly done, I guess you could say, in each part. I know it's a zombie film, but I've seen zombie films where it's not only believable, but it's not overdone. And I think one of the things that, in my opinion, that kind of ruined the film somewhat was, other than the writing, is most of the jokes felt a little bit forced, a lot of them. And, you know, they also fell flat. They were not funny to me at all. It's just kind of, there's even parts in there where I was just rolling my eyes. Now, there was some very nice shots. One comes to mind is when Dave was sitting with and talking to a woman on top of a car. The cam was at a slight angle while the sun was just behind them from going down. While there was a blur behind them, but closer to the camera, you could see them colored but with a shadow on their face and body, which was really cool. And there were some other shots, and a couple of other shots in that were pretty cool. Now, another thing that bugged me, and this is actually what the main thing that kind of threw me off throughout this whole movie. Again, next to the writing, and I'll get to that, is that he put a foggy tint to it. So normally when you get the sun on something in the daytime, because this is in the desert, you get kind of I forgot what you call it, a reflection, right? Well, it was like that, but in all parts, not just the desert in the daytime, he had a foggy part. And it was more foggy towards the sides. And the other thing he did that annoyed me is he did this, and at the same time it's kind of cool, but not really when it's overdone, is you'll have the person here and you'll see them clear, right? And the background is blurry, and including the upper close part of the person. And they did that, and they switched back and forth. Which, again, some parts were cool, but a lot of it was a bit distracting. Now, I won't be specific on who, because this is a non-spoiler, but there was one badass death scene, one really stupid death scene in here, and the stupid one really annoyed me at how dumb it was. It was how the person died specifically, and you kind of knew it was going to happen. But how it happened was just really stupid, in my opinion. It involves an elevator, so. I didn't really care for when the henchman died, as they didn't really build him up. His character was, you know, just kind of felt a little bit thrown in there. I didn't even recognize the actor. I mean, I did, kind of, but it's just like, I didn't really feel for him. So I didn't really, even though he's doing some nasty stuff in here, I didn't really care. I didn't really feel for his character. I really didn't give a crap about his death, which was overdone, by the way. Yeah, it was stretched out. Now, another character that actually I really hated was the German. He was a safecracker in here, and I don't fully recognize the actor, but he was German. He spoke in a German accent, and he was very cringy and very awkward. And he had the most jokes in here, if you would even call him that. And it was just so. There was even some parts in here that involved him that were so bad when it came to the jokes. It was more of a stick, if anything. Honestly, overall, the movie started out great, but around the last half, it started to go downhill. This was a one-of-a-kind zombie and heist film, like I said, but very far from the best. Very, very far. It felt a little over the place and with the writing, and it had some stupid parts in here, like I said. It was, for me, enjoyable in the first half, but when they got to the vault, that's everything, when everything went downhill. And it got really dumb and kind of slow in spots, but, you know, it's just like I stopped caring after a certain amount of time, but while still enjoying Dave Bautista and his daughter's character, chemistry behind him. And they had a part in here that was also a bit stretched out. Like I said, this movie has a lot of issues with it. It was all over the place in some spots. It had stupid spots. The joke's flat. Again, the movie was okay. I enjoyed it to a degree. Definitely not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a lot better from Zack Snyder. I know there's haters out there that are gonna go on this film and base everything on that, like they do with the other films, despite, you know, WB CEO kind of honing in on what he can and can't do in those superhero films. But whatever, you know, people are gonna be what they're gonna be. But in my opinion, and some people might disagree. They disagreed with Mortal Kombat, and yeah, I think the film was a little bit enjoyable. It's something to watch. I would not watch it again. It was a bit stupid. Here's my rating. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Did you watch this today? Are you going to watch it this weekend? If you do, let me know in the comments below what you thought. Please like and share this video. Please, if you have not already, please subscribe. And I love you all. I'll be having something out hopefully Saturday. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be having on Monday at this point. Yeah, that's enough of me starting to ramble on now. So, Skull,